As UFC 281 approaches, one fight that has the MMA world on the edge of their seats already is the Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier contest. The stakes of this fight were already high, as the two have shown a ton of bad blood towards each other. But now that Islam Makhachev is the new lightweight champ, the winner of this one could propel himself to the top of the contender list. So let's take a look at what the MMA world has to say about this upcoming dynamic lightweight contest. First, we have one of the most popular figures in all of MMA, Joe Rogan. Rogan is known for hyping up big fights, and he cannot wait to see how Chandler versus Poirier turns out. This is what the UFC commentator had to say.
The thing about Chandler is, you got to take him out. He's not going to quit. There's zero quitting him. You got to take him out. And his style, he's also got that killer be killed style. He puts himself in danger too. And he loses sometimes. He's an animal. The killer be killed guy right there. He came that close to being the champion of the world. That close. So he had great defense. Very impressive and scrambled out. But he's also like this ball of muscle. Right now, if you get on the scale, he's 190. He weighs 155 for about 20 minutes, the most, God. And then he rehydrates, and I bet he's 170 plus when he fights. Once he fully fuels himself over the next couple of days after the fight, Dustin can hurt you. At 55, he's found a spot, and you look at him, he almost looks like a welterweight. I mean, he's big. He looks like Tyron Woodley size. He cuts a shitload of weight. Just super impressive.
Think about his
striking.
Wins.
Yeah, man. This is going to be fucking chaos.
Sticking with the commentator theme, former middleweight champ turned commentator Michael Bisping is also excited about the epic lightweight clash. Bisping believes that the winner of this fight will likely get a crack at the lightweight belt once more. This is what the champ had to say.
Chandler, if they deliver the goods like Chandler did at Madison Square Garden last year, like Dustin Poirier usually does in every single one of his fights, then this fight is going to be absolutely sensational. And if it's a fan-pleasing fight, there's a good chance that one of them gets a shot at the title once again. Now, according to the odds makers, let me see right here, Poirier is the favorite. He is a minus 155 favorite. So that means you've got to bet $155 on Dustin Poirier to get $100 back. And Michael Chandler, what is his? He is a plus 135 underdog. So you put 100 on Chandler, you get 135. Now let's talk about the fight. When it comes to wrestling, I would give the advantage to Michael Chandler. He's a tremendous wrestler. He's a shorter guy. He's very, very powerful, and he's very aggressive, right? He doesn't mind taking one to give one. Poirier, I say, has the better boxing, the better footwork, probably got more experience, I would say better jiu-jitsu. But where are they both at in their careers?
Next up, we have a common opponent of both men in Justin Gaethje. Gaethje took on Poirier back in 2018, suffering a fourth-round stoppage loss, while he fought Chandler last year in a Fight of the Year candidate in which he took home the W. He shared his thoughts on the upcoming match between Chandler and Poirier in a recent interview where he said,
"Big fight coming up, Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier. You've shared the octagon with both of those fighters. I'm curious how you see that fight playing out."
It's all a guess. No, I'm guessing that it's going to play out a lot like my fight. I think Poirier is going to be methodical. I think Chandler's going to be explosive. I think he's going to be dangerous as hell for, 9 minutes. He's still dangerous after that. That's why the risk-reward factor calculation that's constantly going on never allowed me to take that chance. That man is dangerous, and he loves to fight, so I'm a fan.
Although there has been a lot of #1 contender buzz around this fight, there is a slight hiccup, as the 145-pound champ Alexander Volkanovski is set to move up to 155 to challenge Makhachev. But in the meantime, Chael Sonnen believes he's found the solution to the problem. Just take a listen to the American gangster.
Then we're going to have to get somebody in there to be the next #1 contender, and what we generally do is we'll put them on the same card. So, is this a situation where the winner of Chandler Poirier draws in to Benny? And I don't know that we have to work that out ahead of time. I personally, as a fan, like to know what's this about. I do, but it's a treat. We don't get that very often. We saw several fights over the weekend. They didn't lead to something. I mean, we saw Jake Paul and Anderson Silva fight, but we don't know who's going to be next, and we don't know what it's going to be for. I personally just like that. But I like a #1 contenders match, but I can back up from there. I like it straight up. This guy draws in. Dana did that on the Pat McAfee show. He comes out and he says, right before Chimaev is going to fight Gilbert Burns, he says the winner of this fight is going to draw into an ABC main event opposite Covington. I like that.
And the winner of Chandler and Poirier fighting Beneil Dariush? Well, that just sounds like a treat for all MMA fans. But will it be Chandler or Poirier? They both match up against each other extremely well, but Henry Cejudo thinks he knows who will be the winner. Let's watch Triple C break down the lightweight fight.
There's bad blood here, you know, and both of these guys are strong. Both of these guys are pretty solid 55-pounders. You got both of these guys that are fan favorites that don't like each other, that there's a little bit of bad blood. My initial, I guess the person that I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit more would be Dustin Poirier, just for the simple fact that his hands are a little crisper. He's been in it with the absolute best, and he's trained for 5 rounds. Who is it that can take this fight and really unleash their game plan? Because my initial reaction is I do want to go with Poirier. The only reason why I want to go with Poirier is because, number one, his grit. Anybody that can go head-to-head and be composed, and his striking is pretty solid, even though he'll stay in the pocket. And yeah, he will get hit, but his Dustin Poirier's greatest gift is his grit, man. That dude is something I feel like, I don't know, I want to get his DNA checked to actually see if he's actually Mexican. He's got a pair of cojones, but those pair of cojones can also get you in trouble.
Another bright 135-pounder who was willing to give his 2 cents and break this upcoming fight down in more detail was Corey Sandhagen. The Sandman is regarded as having a high fight IQ, so let's see what his opinion is on Chandler and Poirier and who he's picking to win UFC 281.
3-round fights just in general are kind of a bummer now. Like, I'm going to be kind of sad when if the day ever comes when I go back to fighting only 3 rounds, but yeah, I got Dustin in that one. I think Dustin is just like such a presence, you know, like his build, his power. I think he's just like a tough guy to deal with. The way he protects himself too, he protects himself really well. So I don't really know how Chandler would beat that other than catching Dustin, and Dustin like really doesn't get caught that.
This fight is scheduled to go down on November 12th at Madison Square Garden. As you can see, the MMA world is fired up to see these two finally clash in the center of the octagon. Both parties have almost come to blows in the crowd previously and have made several comments about each other, questioning their opponent's skill sets or mindset or the ability to take a shot. So we cannot wait to see who backs up their trash talk the best at UFC 281. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. And with that being said, you just watched the MMA world's reaction to the upcoming clash between Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier. We'll see you next time.